Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today's review of the Galaxy S10 is literally something I've been working on for over a month. I've had the device literally that long and Verizon sent it out to me. I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to check it out. Not only that, but I want to share with you guys my thoughts on the Galaxy S10, the placement for it. There's the S10 Plus, then there's the S10e. And in my opinion, those two devices are really the stars of 2019 for Samsung. I felt like the S10 did not really have a good, strong enough point to justify going for it, because for a little bit more, you could go for the S10 Plus. Well, in today's review, I'm going to share with you guys the things that I liked and the things that I did not like about the Galaxy S10. This is TK, let's check it out. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you're notified whenever we push out new videos on the channel. Now, we can't start the conversation about the Galaxy S10 without talking about the two other siblings that came out at the same time. We have the Galaxy S10e, the new design on the Galaxy S10 line of devices that offers us a slightly smaller version of what the S10 has to offer. Of course, we can't talk about those two without talking about the Galaxy S10 Plus, in my opinion, the best really that we have from Samsung in this year. And there are so many different options and combinations that you can go, on top of the fact that there is an actual 5G model. Now, looking at what we have in front of us, we have three different sizes as far as devices. We have a 5.8-inch display here on the S10e, a 6.1-inch display on the S10, the regular standard one, a 6.4-inch display on the S10 Plus, and then, even though I don't have it, there's an even bigger one, a 6.7-inch display on the S10 5G that's supposed to be coming out in another month or so, specifically on Verizon, since they were actually a partner at the beginning of the actual event. The reality is that for the most part, I felt like at the beginning when I started reviewing these devices that the S10e and the S10 Plus were pretty much the main winners here. As if you wanted a new form factor as far as basically a smaller device that offered you some of the main benefits of the first two, the S10e really had it. This is really the new device, right? 5.8 inches, a punch hole camera, an actual fingerprint sensor on the side, that's a new placement for them, dual cameras in the back with one of them being the wide angle lens as well as the standard focal length. And we didn't have the telephoto, and I feel like this is the right combination. We still had the headphone jack, USB-C, stereo speakers, all of the stuff that we got out of all three, with the exception of the fact that we have a slightly slower port here, which is a USB 2.0 as opposed to the 3.1. But for the most part, I think like overall, this was definitely going to be one of the main winners there. It has a 3100 milliamp battery, but it's still running the Snapdragon 855, similar to all three of them. Started off with 6 gigs of RAM, and there is an 8 gig model. And of course, here we have 8 gigs of RAM, and we can go all the way up to 12 gigs of RAM on the S10 Plus. Now, the S10 Plus came with certain specifications that made it very unique. On top of the fact that it had the triple cameras in the back, now we obviously have those on the standard S10. The front is where it gets a little bit different. We have dual cameras, one of them being used for depth information. So it was really mostly just an improvement over the three. A bigger battery, a 4100 milliamp battery, as opposed to the 3100 milliamp battery, 3400 milliamp battery here on the S10. We went to 41. So this was the biggest jump in battery size, and you needed the space. But overall, this was definitely one of the better ones. Both of the S10 and the S10 Plus are Quad HD displays. You have the ability, obviously, having wireless charging and reverse wireless charging on all three of these devices. So again, in my opinion, at the beginning, I felt like these two were the winners. But today we want to talk about the Galaxy S10. Now, the model of the S10 that I have here has 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, expandable via microSD. We have IP68 rating here, as well as the fact we have the same triple camera setup as the S10 Plus. So we have a standard focal length, an ultra wide, and a telephoto lens. Of course, we have the heart rate sensor and the dual tone LED flash. Wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, which is similar to all three devices. We have a Bixby button as well as basically the volume rocker here. Now we are able to remap Bixby to launch the Assistant now, which is really, really nice. The display on the front is a 6.1-inch display, Quad HD dynamic AMOLED display, one of the best panels on the market. There's no question that Samsung does the best on its own devices with its own panels. We have the actual curved display on both sides as opposed to the flat display that we have on the S10e. And again, just all of the normal gestures that you expect. We have support for good lock. That's one of the things I really love. So I'm going to start talking about the UI first. One UI definitely did a lot of things right. And what I mean by that is it's just the customizations that we have. The overall UI is really designed to be used with one hand, and I think that's why it really makes sense to me. The ability of going and having dark UI and turning on the basically customizations are all in there. You have theme support, wallpaper support, lock screen options. And not only that, Something that I've enjoyed on Samsung devices for quite some time, it's the ability of installing videos on our lock screen. And that's one of the things that I really like. I'm a big Goku, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super fan, and I've always loved it when at the moment, obviously Goku went Ultra Instinct right there. And this definitely made my experience just really, really nice. The punch hole camera placement on the S10 is very small. It's not as big as the S10 Plus, and it's easily basically manipulated if you use the right wallpapers. And that's one of the really cool things that I've enjoyed over the last month. It's the functionality of things that we can do with it. Now, I did a video showing you guys Energy Ring and Always On Edge that enable us to add information around that camera side here since we lost the LED light. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit more about that on the areas of the things that I did not like. But the first thing, as I said, the UI is fantastic. We can customize and update the UI by adding good lock functionalities if you live in markets that support it. And Good Lock has so many more things. We have the ability of changing the way our recents app look like, tasks changer, clock face changer, multi-star, quick star, lock star on the lock screen, nice catch. And then a lot of people were asking me basically how am I able to basically use gestures, one-handed operations. And then when you turn that on, the functionality turns on the side. And what it does for us is it allows us to be able to do gestures. And those gestures are very nice because of one-handed operations. And this is very, very nice. You can turn it on, use it. Now, you don't need to necessarily download Good Lock for that. This one's actually available on the Play Store. We have edge lighting to be able to enhance the edge information as far as notifications, edge touch, and of course, sound assistant, and a lot of different things. So definitely very happy with the way Samsung has basically put the UI front and center and focused on it, and updated Good Lock to have so many more options that we had in previous versions of it. Now, talking about the horsepower that we have in here, we have the Snapdragon 855, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, and you can expand the internal storage with an SD card, as it does have an SD card slot as well as a SIM card here in the tray at the top. We have an IP68 rating, which makes it very nice and durable, and I did that video for you guys in the pool. But overall, the battery that we have in here is a 3400 milliamp battery, capable of being charged with built-in charger that we have that comes in the box. It's the 15-watt adaptive charger from Samsung, and it's not by far, well, it's not the fastest one on the market, but it definitely does fill up the charge pretty quickly for you on the S10. We have wireless charging as well as reverse wireless charging, so that's something that you want to keep in mind, as well as fast wireless charging if you're using the compatible Samsung charger that is available from Samsung. The other options that we have here, of course, is that I would have wished to have a little bit bigger battery, and that's something to keep in mind because the size difference between the S10 and the S10 Plus is not that big, yet the battery goes from 3400 to 4100. That's a big jump compared to when you go from this one to the S10e, which is only 300 milliamps difference, and you're going from a 5.8-inch display to a 6.1. So in my mind, I felt like the battery should have been somewhere a little bit closer in the middle between those two devices. One of the things I really appreciate about the device, of course, is the connectivity that we have on here. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, NFC, and of course, you have Samsung Pay, Google Pay, and of course, we have much faster connections depending on the area that you're in and the carrier. And with Verizon, I was definitely very happy. We went over during spring break to the beach in an area where T-Mobile and AT&T did not even have service. And not only did I have connection, I also had LTE connection to still be able to share over on Instagram and Twitter, all the things that I wanted to share with it, and while being connected at the same time. And the connection speeds were definitely very, very fast. So I appreciate having that. And if you're, depending on your carrier, you're going to get different connections and coverage. But for the most part, I love having that on Verizon. The audio experience on this device is definitely unique in 2019. And I say unique mostly because of the fact that we still have a 3.5mm headphone jack on a flagship in 2019. Not only that, this is supported by Dolby Atmos, and that's basically installed and one of the best EQs that we have on the market. You can keep it in automatic, movie, music, or voice, and of course, just customize it to your experience. And this works over Bluetooth or wired, or even the stereo speakers that you're using here. And of course, the panel is amazing. Having this set at Quad HD will definitely give you the best experience. The ability of basically filling the screen here at an 18:9 by aspect ratio. And of course, you can see that the camera itself does not really take too much of your display. It sits on the top left, and you can definitely get a much bigger view. Of course, you can keep it cropped in if you like, but depending on the content, if you have support for it, definitely enjoy it. The audio on this is very, very nice. Let's go ahead and put the audio all the way high. So volume high.
You actually have to carry your wallet with you. Now, unfortunately, I still wanted to have, obviously, the protection and the drop protection that any other case provides it on the market.
So that was a quick sample of a video that I did a couple of days ago. But again, Definitely, no question, one of the best panels on the market. The display is definitely beautiful. You can customize the display to be able to basically either increase or reduce the resolution. You have a way of customizing the display's experience. Out of the box, it does come in with Full HD Plus, and you do need to upgrade it and put it up to WQHD Plus here so that you can get the full resolution. Otherwise, if you want to be able to save some battery, you can definitely drop it down to 720p, and that's definitely something that we don't have the ability of doing on the S10e, as that one is pretty much stuck at 1080p and you can't really change the resolution. The S10 and the S10 Plus can. Although not marketed as gaming phones, the Galaxy S10 line of devices definitely have a really good gaming mode experience that gives you the ability of not only recording, screenshotting, having uninterrupted gaming, and of course blocking the navigation keys, and just overall customizing the experience of the way you want to game. But on top of that, in Fortnite, we have a very nice little gift, and that's the ability of getting the iconic skin, and that's something that's unique to the Fortnite experience on the S10 line of devices. So if you pick up the S10e, S10 Plus, or S10, you're definitely going to be enjoying a special customized skin. Not only that, we also have the ability of playing 60 frames per second if we go into the settings. 60 frames per second gameplay on the device. That's definitely one of the unique things that you get as far as playing Fortnite and enjoying, obviously, jumping off the bus and enjoying the game with all your friends. So no question about it, great gameplay, very nice battery, and of course the ability of basically just having really good audio with a 3.5mm headphone jack. Just cannot beat it. The last thing I want to talk to you guys, of course, is the camera experience on this device. We have a new setup of cameras on the back. There's triple cameras as opposed to dual cameras that we've had before, and that gives us the ability of doing a few things. We have the standard focal length, we have the telephoto lens, which takes us to 2x optical zoom, so that's something that you need to appreciate, of course. And the last but not least is the wide angle lens that we get here. So you can see definitely a lot more of the actual display. You can see my monitor right there. And of course, what we get here is a really better implementation of live focus, pro mode, panorama mode. We have food mode, as well as the integration of Instagram. Now, this was announced at the launch event and it finally became available through an update. And it's definitely really nice. And it integrates itself very nicely into the Instagram application. You take a picture, it automatically shoots it in there. And the other thing I wanted to share with you guys is with the front-facing camera, if you actually keep it on the wider side, this is pretty much the focal length of the camera. By default, for some reason, they like to crop it in so that it basically looks like we have a wider lens, but the reality is essentially it's one lens that just has a slightly cropped image on it. As far as the settings, we have the ability of going into 4K on the front-facing camera at 30 frames per second, 4K at 60 frames per second in the back, and of course, really good stabilized footage. And the images just look amazing. You get really good, very nice popping colors, of course. Scene recognition is turned on there. My son and my wife there, we went to a really nice rose garden not that long ago, and you can have the ability of actually changing the background with the basically live focus option between zoom, spin, blur, and color options, and you can definitely customize them to your liking. There is no question that the cameras on this device are definitely one of the better ones, a really good improvement over the years that we've had with the actual Galaxy line of devices. Although not the best cameras on the market, I would definitely say video is top-notch, and camera experience I would say is good. It's definitely a solid performer, regardless of the front or the back-facing camera. So some of the things that are still lacking on this device, so this is the things that I did not like on this device, is the fact that we're still missing a dedicated night mode. We were told it's coming. We do know that the device does take good pictures at night, but we don't have a dedicated, there's no night sight, there's no night vision. Nothing specific made so that you can actually get better images in low light, specifically when you want to do it, not letting the AI or the scene optimizer do its thing. It's basically still missing. We got Instagram, but we didn't get the night mode, and I'm surprised that we still don't have this option. I know the device is capable of providing us great images, but we really want more a dedicated, something that we can focus on and specifically turn on when we want it. I'm hoping that this update will get pushed out pretty soon, but at this point, in about a month after the device has been out with 2 major updates, still no night mode. The next thing is something that I've talked to you guys before with the S10 Plus and the S10e, and that's the fact of the missing LED light that we lost at the top. Samsung has mentioned, and I've seen some leaks saying that there was going to be a built-in basically option to be able to offer us notifications or some more options around the camera, because right now the only thing that goes on around that camera is whenever you turn on the selfie mode, it does a little bit of a spin around it just to let us know to look over here to be able to take that picture. And I would have wanted something to be more built in. Now we have Energy Ring and Always On Edge that does fix this problem, and we also have the Edge lighting that provides this notification. But again, having to buy an applications with the always on edge or even installing third-party apps doesn't work as well as native or things that are built into the OS and optimized with the battery saving features that we'd always want out of our Galaxy device. The next thing I want to talk about is the fingerprint sensor. Now, we do have a 3D ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, and it definitely is one of the better options that we have. It's not an optical one, which definitely means it's more secure and should work more often and more consistently. But the problem with it is it's not as consistent and it's not as fast as the one we have here on the S10e, and that's something to keep in mind. The S10e and a physical fingerprint is definitely one of the faster options. I think this is generation 1, and the S10 and the S10 Plus definitely have the same experience. Specifically, if you try to get glass protectors for this, you need to make sure you get one that actually works with this. The other option, of course, is the fact that the face unlock can be fooled with a picture, and it's been basically well documented online. A lot of people have talked about it. The face unlock security option here is not secure, so I would recommend you either using the fingerprint sensor or a pin just to keep your device secure, as people have been able to not only fool it with pictures, but like twins or even actual video on another phone. So just keep in mind, if there's a lot of pictures of you and people can actually be able to get a picture of your face, chances are your phone is not secure. So I would skip the face recognition option here and stick with fingerprint and pin. Summarizing everything that I shared with you guys today, the S10 is definitely a device that is for somebody that's looking for a device that's not as big as the S10 Plus, but still gives you basically, like I would say, a 97% experience of what the S10 Plus can do. And I say 97 mostly because of that second sensor on the front. Other than that, we definitely have a slightly bigger battery. It's 700 milliamp battery that'll last you a little bit longer. So if you're looking to get into the Galaxy S10 line of devices, the S10e I think is by far the smallest and definitely the most compact. And even though it's small, it still supports a 5.8-inch display, which is considered to be a bigger display. So that's going to be a really good experience. But if you want to be able to get the WQHD, the Quad HD resolution, definitely a little bit bigger display, and obviously the curved edges, the aesthetics of the S10 line of devices that we've had for the last couple of years, I think the S10 is a good entry point. If you want to be able to basically get the best experience that Samsung has to offer, I would say the S10 Plus is going to be for you. As far as connectivity, all three of these devices will support LTE in the US market, depending if you get it from your carrier or even unlocked. There is going to be an S10 5G that's going to be coming out, and that's going to be just a massive behemoth phone, but essentially is the upgraded 5G or first generation 5G phone coming out. So my hope is that Verizon will be carrying that, and I will definitely be checking that out from them. I will ask them to be able to send me a review unit. But the main thing I want to share with you guys is if you're looking at the Galaxy S line of devices, you will not be disappointed. They're great, they're easy to set up, easy to use. One UI is fantastic, Good Lock customizes it even more, and I can't say good enough things about the Galaxy line of devices. I would say it's the best well-rounded device, and the device that kind of answers a lot of the questions that we have. You know, great camera, great audio, great gaming experience, best processor on the market, the brand new 7nm chipset, really fast, and of course just nice, light, and wireless reverse charging. And depending if you were able to get it at launch or not, they were giving out free earbuds, the Samsung Buds, for free, so couldn't really go wrong. And of course with Fortnite. And the last thing, of course, I will always say, is the fact that it supports live wallpaper on the lock screen. So for me, as a Dragon Ball fan, always happy to be able to put that on any of my Galaxy devices. Like and subscribe as usual. Let me know in the comments what do you guys think, and share this with your friends if you think they're considering getting an S10 line of device. And let me know. I really would appreciate your comments, and thank you very much for the support. We're almost at 100,000. I'm hoping with the next couple of days this thing will go up there, and I will probably have a little giveaway for you guys. So if you stuck to the end of this video, so you have a little sneak peek of what's coming up. See you guys in the next video.